a rock and a hard place, in a sense. It's an English saying, in the sense that you know, YouTube has been really good, and it's generating revenues that were otherwise not there, because people are accessing music on the web anyway. But at the same time, I know, Luciana, that you know, your organization, ABMI, stood with Win last week when there was a statement released around the license fees that were being offered by YouTube for their streaming service, and that they were not being equitable, that they were offering less than what other services are offering on the market. So how do you balance those two issues? I guess the fact that YouTube is really good for the market because it is bringing in revenues that are not there otherwise, but also the fact that YouTube is leveraging its position in order to get a much better deal than other companies have managed to get so far.
That's exactly the problem, because on one side they're giving such good revenue to the market, that doesn't mean that they can jeopardize the whole market by offering lower royalty on licensing the streaming service. That's why a label cannot do that by standing against Google, but the association can, and especially if we gather together under the Win umbrella, and all over the world we sent out a manifesto, and everyone stood against that way of behaving, because I think it was pretty bad business behavior. If you can't stay into YouTube if you don't sign the streaming service on my terms. So it was not nice. So we had to speak out.
Yes, absolutely. Robert, from our side perspective, speaking from New York, you know, what do you make of the situation with Win? And do you feel like YouTube now is going to really have the pressure on, because they've had such a big reaction from all the organizations around the world?
Well, I hope so. You know, Google is you know, a mammoth company, and it's hard to bite the hand that feeds you. But at the same time, Google is, you know, I mean, YouTube is cannibalizing other sources of income. You know, of course, download sales, and before that, CD sales, and probably even radio broadcast income, neighboring rights, and publishing. So, you know, just like the industry always has to fight for its rights to party, as the Beastie Boys used to say, but fight for its rights to maintain you know, a level of income and a level of negotiating power that's equitable. They have to fight with Google, which is not an easy thing to do at this point. You know, so I do believe that it is important for companies, organizations, and also the governments behind the companies and organizations who are behind protecting IP and know that the creative economy has to keep moving, to not give way to the technology that, you know, then diminishes the rights of the creative economy. So it's always a balance, and it's definitely not an easy thing. But you know, I hope that the balance, you know, with the governments behind it, with the organizations, and with the creators, with the artists and musicians, the songwriters, the publishers, and the labels, actually can, you know, influence, as they always have. I mean, you know, the ASCAP, BMI, all the PROs around the world, you know, helped create the whole concept of copyright back in the early 1900s. So I think that it's you know, something that's an ongoing battle, you know, especially in the digital sense, with zeros and ones and information being able to be copied so easily. It's a battle that's going to last, you know, for another 10, 20, 30 years, and that everybody has to be vigilant about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a very interesting issue to see how that develops in the next few months, actually, because YouTube wants to launch a service, and they're going to have a very hard time to launch it. Perhaps they could launch it without the independence from Brazil, but they definitely couldn't launch it without some of the independence from the UK, for example. And so yeah, we're gonna have to really see what happens there, because everybody's standing together, and so it makes a much more compact front on a worldwide level. And Luciana